Hello, Chris Green here with the Flood Insurance Guru, and today we're talking about 5 myths about flood insurance. Myth number 1 is you can only get flood insurance where it's required. Now, this is a myth that is actually costing property owners millions of dollars right now across the country, as it seems that a lot of residents are being told you can't get flood insurance if it's not required. And technically, this is not true. You see, it used to be with the National Flood Insurance Program before Risk Rating 2.0, you could get preferred rates. Now, you can still get a lot of these preferred rates with the private flood insurance, where maybe an average premium is still only $400 or $500. But with the National Flood Insurance Program, you should be able to get flood insurance as long as your community is a participating member with the National Flood Insurance Program. Myth number 2 is that there's only one flood insurance option available. Now, recently we were doing a meeting with a real estate company, and all the realtors thought this. They were getting $3,000 and $4,000 premiums. Property owners were walking away from these properties they were looking at buying or just keeping and going into foreclosure, when realistically these $3,000 and these $4,000 premiums could have been $600 and $700 in many situations. So it's important to understand that you really have 2 options. You have the National Flood Insurance Program and you have private flood insurance. Myth number 3 is that home insurance covers flood insurance. Now, there might be some special situations where a home insurance does cover it with a special endorsement, but generally home insurance is not going to cover you for flood insurance. Remember that. Myth number 4 is that everybody defines a flood differently. Now, when it comes to the National Flood Insurance Program, remember, they define a flood as either 2 acres or 2 properties. They're inundated with water that are normally dry area. But many private companies have dropped this down to 1 property. So it's important to understand that if you're setting up a flood insurance policy, you understand how your company defines a flood, because it could define whether you have a flood claim paid out or not. Myth number 5 is that flood maps show the real flood risk. You see where I'm standing right here, technically could be considered a minimum risk zone. Hello, there's water right behind me. Obviously, this is a high risk. And this is part of the problem with flood maps, is that people think it's their real risk. It's one of the reasons why we created on our website a true flood risk indicator that tells you from 1 to 100 of what your real flood score is, how close you are to water. So, these are 5 myths that have to do with flood insurance. So if you've got questions about understanding your flood risk, like the one right here behind me, simplifying your flood insurance, click below to visit our website, floodinsuranceguru.com. Remember, we have an educational background in flood mitigation, which means we can help you understand things like this right here. Thank you.